Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're exploring a place with a literally massive historical footprint. We are talking about Ballia, which is arguably Uttar Pradesh's most patriotic district. I mean, this is the very soil that gave India its first real spark of rebellion back in 1857. It's a place that literally overthrew the British for a few glorious days and eventually went on to produce a prime minister. So it really begs the question, right? What exactly makes this specific, quiet, agricultural wedge of land the fierce, fiery crucible of Indian independence? How does a traditional farming community become a total hotbed for revolution? Well, the answer is actually baked right into the name, that the locals wear it like a badge of honor. They call it Bagi Ballia, the rebel district. You know, this isn't just some catchy nickname. It's a deep-rooted identity earned through blood and blazing acts of defiance. And this unyielding, rebellious spirit is exactly what's going to frame our entire journey today. Okay, here's our game plan. We'll start with a quick welcome to Bagi Ballia, then look at how it was forged by two great rivers, explore the flames of freedom, dive into its legends and leaders, check out modern life, culture, and the economy, and wrap up with a key facts cheat sheet for your exams. Let's get into it. Section 1. Welcome to Bagi Ballia, the identity of a rebel.
Section 2. Forged by two great rivers, geography and origins.
So administrative-wise, Ballia was officially established as a district back in 1879, carved out of parts of Ghazipur and Azamgarh. Geographically, it's the easternmost district of UP. This distinct wedge of land, bordered by the mighty Ganges and Ghaghara rivers. And this geography actually creates a really interesting contrast in how the district got its name. On one side, you have ancient mythology, where locals believe the great sage Valmiki, the author of the Ramayana, had his shrine here. But on the other hand, you have literal geography. The region's incredibly sandy, alluvial river soil, which is locally known as Ballia, and that eventually evolved into the name Ballia.
Honestly, whichever origin story you prefer, the ancient history here is undeniably deep. Ballia was part of the ancient Kosala kingdom, with archaeologists digging up pottery dating all the way back to 1450 to 1200 BCE. We're talking about a land that hosted the ashrams of legendary sages like Brigu and Durvasa. We even have Maurya-era city walls and Ashoka stupas over at Pakakat. And mythologically, it's home to the Kameshwar Dham temple, which is the exact spot where, according to the Shiva Purana, Lord Shiva burnt Kamadeva to ashes. The locals literally say you can still see the half-burnt green mango tree from that ancient clash. How wild is that?
Section 3. The Flames of Freedom, 1857 to 1942.
Because it really all starts right here. Mangal Pandey, born in 1827 right in Ballia's Nagwa village. As a soldier in the 34th Bengal Native Infantry, he became the absolute spark of the 1857 rebellion when he violently protested the use of those infamous Enfield rifle cartridges greased with animal fat. His defiance was seen as so threatening to the British that they didn't even wait for his scheduled execution on April 18th. Nope, they hung him in secret 10 days early, on April 8th, sealing his legacy as the first freedom fighter and martyr of 1857.
Now fast forward to 1942, and the rebellion reaches a cinematic climax during the Quit India movement. Picture this. August 19th, a massive crowd of 25,000 people protested at the Ballia police station just to raise the Indian tricolor. The police opened fire, killing at least 20 people. The outrage was absolute. The crowd cleared out the police, looted government houses, and the district magistrate actually had to burn the treasury's money just to stop it from being raided. The very next day, August 20th, Ballia did the unthinkable. It declared complete independence from the British Empire, setting up its own government. For a few blazing days, it was literally India's first independent city, at least until British troops brutally retook control on the night of August 22nd.
And at the head of that brief, glorious independent government was a man named Chitu Pandey. He was an absolute force of nature, so brave and commanding that both Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose famously described him as the Tiger of Ballia, or Sher Ballia.
Which brings us to Section 4, Legends and Leaders, Titans Born in Ballia.
224. That is the exact number of days that Chandrasekhar, a man born right in Ballia's Ibrahimpati village, served as the 9th Prime Minister of the Republic of India.
Chandrasekhar was widely known as the Young Turk and famously undertook a nationwide Padayatra, a massive foot march, in 1984 that gave serious political jitters to Indira Gandhi. But he's far from the only giant. Ballia is also the birthplace of the legendary socialist leader Jayaprakash Narayan, or Lok Nayak J.P. Narayan, who of course spearheaded the total revolution, that massive peaceful uprising against the 1975 emergency. And even beyond politics, Ballia produced literary titans like Hazari Prasad Dwivedi, a true giant of 20th century Hindi bhakti, or devotional literature. This district just churns out outsized national influence.
Let's look at today. Section 5. Life, Culture, and Economy. The modern profile. Demographically speaking, Ballia is a largely agrarian society where over 90% of the population still lives in rural areas. Hinduism is the dominant religion at 88%, with Muslims forming about 10%. The district boasts a solid literacy rate of 70.9% and has a sex ratio of 937 females per 1,000 males.
But here is a stat that might actually surprise you: 0.71%. Because despite Ballia's massive agricultural output and its towering historical footprint, it has a tiny, almost non-existent forest cover of just 0.71%. That makes it among the least forest-covered districts in all of India.
Instead, the landscape is totally dominated by intensive farming of rice, barley, and sugarcane, all fed by those fertile river floods. Economically, you also have these really cool local niche industries, like the sugar mills and cotton weaving in Razra, and interestingly, the town of Manyar, which is a massive national supplier of bindis. In terms of nature, they've got the spectacular 25-kilometer Sarahatal Lake, which is home to the JP Bird Sanctuary. And culturally, well, while Hindi is official, the living, breathing heart of Ballia speaks Bhojpuri, especially when crowds gather for the ancient, massive Dadri Mela held annually right on the banks of the Ganga.
Okay, time to wrap up. Section 6. Key facts for exam, the essential cheat sheet.
I'll just leave this up for a second so you can absorb these high-yield facts. Make sure to keep your geographical boundaries straight. Remember, it's the easternmost tip of UP. Know your three main rivers: Ganga, Gagra, and Saryu. Note the crucial Surahatal Lake, the exact independence date of August 20, 1942, and the modern infrastructure of the Jananayak Chandrasekhar University, which was established recently in 2016.
And that really brings us to the end of our journey through boggy Ballia. We've seen how the soil wedged between the Ganges and the Gagra breeds rebels and prime ministers alike, from Mangal Pandey lighting the flame of 1857 to Chittu Pandey capturing a whole city in 1942. It leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought to chew on. If geography and history are truly intertwined like this, where will India's next great rebel come from? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the history around you.